Welcome to your deep dive into the world of human design colors. I know human design can sometimes feel like you're deciphering a secret code, but today we're cracking that code together.
We're adding depth and dimension to that energetic blueprint you already have.
Exactly. So for anyone just tuning in, human design uses your birth information to create this unique energetic blueprint. Think of it as a guidebook to understanding your natural strengths, your potential challenges, and how you best interact with the world. And today we're diving into the concept of human design colors, which add another level of nuance to that understanding.
The colors are fascinating because they provide insight into the motivational forces that drive you, what gets you going, what you find fulfilling. It's like understanding the why behind your actions and reactions.
Okay, so that's the why. But what are these colors exactly?
Think of them as different thematic energies, almost like lenses through which you experience life. There are 6 colors in the human design system, and each one is associated with a specific line in your human design chart.
Hold on, let's pause there for a second, because I know this is where people can get tripped up. We're talking about the lines within each of the gates in your chart, right?
Exactly. Each gate, which represents a specific energy or potential, is also associated with one of the 6 lines, and each line in turn is associated with a specific color. So to find your colors, you'll need your human design chart. There are lots of free online resources that can generate your chart.
Perfect. And we'll link those resources in the show notes for easy access. So once you have your chart, you're looking for the lines of the activated gates, which will then reveal your color. And remember, your chart has both a personality side, which is your conscious self, and a design side, which represents your unconscious. So you actually have 2 colors that impact you.
It's true, and sometimes those 2 colors are the same and sometimes they're different, adding even more complexity to the mix.
Right. Okay, so we know how to find our colors. Let's talk about what they mean. What are the themes associated with each color?
Let's start with color 1, which is all about security and uncertainty. It's connected to the first line in your chart, the sense of smell, and the splenic system.
So if one of my activated gates is, say, gate 51, which is a first-line gate, then I would have color 1 influencing me, right?
Precisely. You got it. And the key phrase for color 1 is I define, emphasizing the drive to establish a secure foundation.
That makes total sense, given that first-line energy is all about being a trailblazer,
Yeah.
building something new,
Yeah.
and needing that solid base to operate from.
Exactly. Now, color 2, linked to the second line, flips at that script a bit. It's all about hope and doubt. It's connected to the sense of taste, the mind, and the phrase, I remember.
Okay, I remember.
Mm.
I'm intrigued. Is that about learning from past experiences?
It's more about tapping into the collective unconscious, the wisdom of the past, almost like an ancestral memory.
Wow, that's deep. So colors 1 and 2 are sort of like 2 sides of the same coin. One is building security in the present, and the other is drawing wisdom from the past.
You're picking up on the patterns already. It's about how we navigate uncertainty and use our experiences, both personal and collective, to move forward. Now let's shift gears to colors 3 and 4, which dive into the realm of learning and the mind.
Okay, bring on the knowledge.
Color 3, connected to the third line, is all about desire and frustration, with the motivational theme of action. It's driven by the Ajna Center's outer vision, that urge to explore and experiment in the world.
So this is where the trial and error energy of the third line comes in, right?
Exactly. They're not afraid to make mistakes because for color 3, mistakes are just opportunities to learn and grow.
I love that. Reframing mistakes as opportunities.
And in contrast to color 3's outward focus, color 4, associated with the fourth line, is about need and rejection. Its key theme is meditation, fueled by the Ajna Center's inner vision.
So it's like color 3 is gathering information out in the world, and color 4 is processing it internally.
That's a great way to put it. They need that time to reflect, to integrate their experiences, to understand things deeply. Now onto our final pairing, colors 5 and 6, which focus on the emotional system and the spirit.
Okay, let's unpack those.
Color 5, linked to the fifth line, is all about guilt and innocence, with the theme of judgment, guided by the solar plexus center's feelings.
That sounds intense.
It can be. They are very sensitive to the emotional energy around them, and they can also be very influential. But this can lead to projecting their own expectations onto others, or feeling projected upon.
So it's about navigating that delicate balance between personal feelings and the impact they have on others.
Exactly. And color 6, associated with the sixth line, flips that dynamic,
Wow.
focusing on innocence and guilt, with a sense of acceptance, also guided by the solar plexus, but through touch.
So while color 5 might be quick to judge, color 6 is more about observing and accepting things as they are.
You got it. They are often seen as wise and detached, able to see the bigger picture and offer a sense of perspective.
Wow, okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. But I'm already starting to see how these colors, even in their individual descriptions, are painting a pretty nuanced picture of how we operate in the world.
And we've only just scratched the surface. What's really fascinating is how these colors interact with each other.
Hold that thought. I think we need a moment to let all this information sink in before we dive into the color combinations.
I agree. It's important to digest each color individually before we explore the symphony they create together.
Exactly. So listeners, take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed so far. Have you found your colors in your chart yet? Which descriptions resonate with you? We'll be back in a moment to explore how these colors work together and what it means for your life.
Welcome back. I hope you had a chance to glance at your human design chart and maybe even identify one or both of your colors.
I know I've been staring at mine, and it's amazing how just knowing the basic themes of each color is already giving me some aha moments.
It's true. Even without understanding the intricacies of how the colors work together, just recognizing their individual themes can be incredibly insightful.
Okay, so you teased us before the break with the idea that things get even more interesting when we start looking at how the colors interact with each other. I'm ready to delve deeper.
Well, in human design, things tend to work in pairs, in a binary system. And colors are no exception. Instead of blending like paint, they pair up to form three distinct groups, each with its own thematic focus.
A binary system for colors. This is blowing my mind.
Okay.
Okay, lay it on me. What are these color pairings?
The first pairing is colors 1 and 2, which together represent the theme of survival. It's about how we as humans navigate the world, establish security, and draw on our experiences to thrive.
So color one's focus on building a secure foundation and color two's connection to the wisdom of the past. Those combine to create a sort of survival strategy.
Exactly. It's like having one foot firmly planted in the present, securing your base, while the other foot reaches back into the past, gathering knowledge and resources that can help you navigate the uncertainties of life.
I'm seeing how this is starting to play out in my own life. I definitely have that drive to create stability, but I also find myself constantly drawing on lessons learned and seeking out the wisdom of those who have come before me.
It's about recognizing those patterns and understanding the underlying motivations. Now, the next pairing, colors 3 and 4, is all about learning and the mind.
Okay, this is where things get really meta. We're learning about learning.
Exactly. And with this pairing, we see that interplay between color 3's active experimentation in the world and color 4's need for deep contemplation and internal processing.
So color three is out there gathering information, making mistakes, learning by doing, while color four is taking all that data and creating meaning from it.
That's a great way to summarize it. It's like the dynamic between a student who's eager to try new things and a teacher who guides them towards deeper understanding.
And this is making me think about how these color pairings might play out in relationships. Imagine a color three partnered with a color four.
That's a fantastic observation. You can already see how that dynamic could create both challenges and opportunities for growth. The color 3 might feel stifled by the color 4's need for introspection, while the color 4 might feel overwhelmed by the color 3's constant activity.
But they could also learn so much from each other. The color three could benefit from the color four's wisdom and depth, while the color four could be inspired by the color three's adventurous spirit.
It's all about understanding the nuances of each color and how they interact both within ourselves and in our relationships with others. Now, our final pairing, colors 5 and 6, takes us into the realm of the spirit and the emotional system.
This is where things get really deep, right?
It can be quite profound. Color 5, with its focus on judgment and conditioning, brings that intense emotional energy to the table, while color 6, with its theme of acceptance, offers a sense of perspective and detachment.
So it's like this dance between feeling everything deeply and learning to rise above the emotional waves.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between honoring your emotions and recognizing that they are not the ultimate truth.
This is making me think about the concept of emotional intelligence and how understanding your colors, especially if you have a 5 or a 6, can be a game changer in terms of managing your emotional world.
Absolutely. It's about becoming aware of your emotional patterns, understanding where they come from, and learning to navigate them in a way that empowers you rather than controls you.
This is all so insightful. I'm starting to see how understanding these color pairings can provide such valuable context for how we approach decision-making relationships, even our careers.
It's true. The colors can offer guidance in all areas of life. For example, someone with a strong color 3 influence might thrive in a career that allows for creativity and experimentation, while someone with a dominant color 4 might be drawn to a field that involves research analysis or deep contemplation.
And imagine the possibilities when you combine the colors. Someone with both a 3 and a 4 might be an incredible innovator, able to come up with groundbreaking ideas and then develop them into tangible solutions.
You're getting it. It's about seeing how these colors, both individually and in their pairings, create this intricate tapestry of motivations, tendencies, and potentials.
Okay, so we've explored the color pairings, and I'm already feeling like I have a much deeper understanding of my own energetic blueprint. But I'm wondering, is there a hierarchy to these colors? Like, is one color more dominant or influential than others?
That's a great question. And the answer, as with most things in human design, is nuanced. While there isn't a strict hierarchy in the sense that one color is inherently better or stronger than another, the specific combination of colors you have, and whether they're in your personality or design side, will definitely influence how they manifest in your life.
So it's about understanding the interplay of your individual colors and how they show up for you specifically.
Precisely. And that's where the real magic of human design lies, in uncovering the unique ways your energy expresses itself, and learning to work with those energies to create a life that feels authentic and aligned.
This is all so fascinating. I feel like I've gained a whole new level of self-awareness just from this conversation. But I'm also curious to hear more about how these colors played out in the life of Ra Uru Hu, the founder of human design. You mentioned earlier that he had a color 2 in his design, even though he didn't have any second-line gates in his personality chart.
That's right. And this brings us to a really interesting point about how the colors can manifest, even when they're not directly present in our conscious personality.
Ooh, tell me more.
Well, Ra often talked about how he noticed a pattern of being called upon to share his knowledge, even when he wasn't actively seeking recognition or putting himself out there.
So even though he didn't have a color 2 in his personality, it was still influencing him from his design side.
Exactly. It's like the energy was operating behind the scenes, drawing people to him and creating opportunities for him to share his gifts.
That's incredible. It's like the colors are always at play, even when we're not consciously aware of their influence.
It's true. And this is why it's so important to understand both your personality and design colors, because they're both shaping your experiences in different ways.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. From the individual color themes, to the binary pairings, to how they show up in both our conscious and unconscious selves.
We have, and I think it's time to bring this all back to you, the listener, and how you can apply this knowledge to your own life.
Yes. Let's get practical. What are some tangible ways we can use this information to understand ourselves and navigate the world more effectively?
I think the first step is simply awareness. Once you know your colors, start paying attention to how those themes show up in your life.
So for example, if I know I have a color 3, I might start noticing how often I jump into new projects or experiences without overthinking it.
Exactly. And instead of judging yourself for that tendency, you can start to embrace it as part of your natural learning process.
It's about working with your energy rather than against it.
Precisely. And that goes for all the colors. If you have a color too, you might notice how often people come to you for advice or support, even if you haven't actively put yourself out there as an expert.
It's like that color 2 energy is subtly drawing people in, seeking that wisdom and reassurance.
Exactly. And once you're aware of these patterns, you can start to make conscious choices about how you want to engage with them.
So for instance, if I have a color 5 and I notice myself getting caught up in judging others, I can take a step back and ask myself, is this judgment serving me? Or is it just creating unnecessary negativity?
That's a powerful question. And by becoming aware of those patterns, you can start to shift them. Instead of judging, you can practice empathy. Instead of projecting your expectations onto others, you can focus on understanding their perspective.
It's like using this knowledge to become more emotionally intelligent, more self-aware, and ultimately more compassionate.
I love that. And beyond personal growth, understanding your colors can also be incredibly helpful in navigating relationships.
This is what I'm really excited about. Imagine being able to understand your partner's colors and how they interact with your own.
It can be a game changer. For example, if you're a color 1 who thrives on stability and routine, and your partner is a color 3 who's always seeking novelty and adventure, understanding those differences can help you create a dynamic that works for both of you.
Instead of getting frustrated with each other, you can appreciate those differences as complementary strengths.
Exactly. And you can start to find ways to honor each other's needs. Maybe the color 1 creates a sense of structure at home while the color 3 plans exciting weekend getaways.
It's about finding that balance. And I imagine this knowledge can also be helpful in professional settings.
Absolutely. Understanding your colleagues' colors can help you communicate more effectively, collaborate more smoothly, and even navigate potential conflicts with more grace.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for human behavior.
It is. And while it's important to remember that human design is just one lens through which to view ourselves and others, it can be a remarkably insightful one.
It's like adding another tool to our self-awareness toolkit, helping us understand the why behind our actions and reactions.
And the why behind the actions and reactions of those around us.
Exactly. This has been such an eye-opening deep dive into the world of human design colors. I feel like I have a whole new appreciation for the complexity and beauty of our energetic blueprints.
It's been a joy exploring these concepts with you.
And listeners, I encourage you to continue this exploration on your own. Dive into your human design chart, get to know your colors, and see how this knowledge can empower you to live a more authentic and fulfilling life.
Remember, your colors are not meant to limit you, but to liberate you. They are a guide, not a rule book.
Beautifully said. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep embracing the unique and vibrant energy that makes you you.
Happy diving.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into human design colors.